up your YouTube, search for Stukeley Meadows, watch on your big screen.
Or another device if you're at home.
Get yourself comfy, this could take a while. What a happy scene. Something new every day for your long-term memory. This is so exciting, it is nearly time for a Stukeley assembly. Everyone, never too early for the Stukeley groove. I know we normally wait till Friday, but it is the festive 1st of December and I for one am feeling pumped. Oh. For each other we, every day we, to improve we, together we will. Every single Stukeley day we focus on. Our Stukeley motto is, our Stukeley curriculum is, our Stukeley plan for home learning is. 4 words that make the magic happen. Yes, they do. Welcome everyone to our Wednesday reading assembly. I'm excited because it's reading assembly. I'm excited because we're finishing Macbeth today. I'm excited because we're going to start off with Dickens or Dahl, and I'm excited because we've got our festive bit at the end of assembly where we've got our first Santa movement, and in this assembly you're going to see the first Advent window. Now remember, just like last year, the window, the 1st of December window, it could flash up at any time. What was that? Well, you might have to go back to check that, but it's also, I promise you, it's going to come up later. So don't worry now, carry on, it will come up later. Okay, right, let's start off with a bit of an author warm-up. I know we've done a lot of work on Dickens and Dahl. We're going to finish now. This is our last Dickens and Dahl warm-up until next year, when we're going to try and retrieve it all. We're going to lock it into the memory. So hopefully you can see that, just checking on the screen. Yeah. There you can see all of our information about Dickens and Dahl. Yeah, just double checking. Lovely. Okay. Have a good look. I'm going to take one of them away. Yeah, I'm going to remove one. And you need to tell me which Dickens or Dahl fact I've removed. Okay? Yeah. One more look. There you go. Okay, here we go. Which Dickens or Dahl fact have I removed? Have a look. There's something in my loft. What do you think? You're right. Dickens had a raven called Grip. There we go. Right, I'm going to remove another Dickens or Dahl fact. Have a look. Which Dickens or Dahl fact have I removed? That's right. Dahl was born in 1916. Okay. Last one. I'm going to remove 2. Yes, I am. There we go. Okay, what do you reckon? Oh, come on! That's right. Dahl had a writing shed. Yes, he did. And Dickens wrote and slept facing north. Because he thought it'd do him good. Sounds a bit bonkers to me, but hey. Okay, everyone. Right, straight on to our book, Macbeth. Now, I'm going to have a quick flick through, a really quick flick through, and then we're going to finish up this last bit. We're on Macbeth's last stand. I mean, we know this is all going off right. We know this is not going to end well. So starts off with King Duncan. He's the King of Scotland. He's waiting for news of the battle. He's in Dunsinane Castle. He finds out his side have won the battle. His men have won the battle, and Macbeth was the hero. He says, go and find Macbeth. He's going to be pronounced Lord of Cawdor. Macbeth's on his way back from battle with his friend Banquo. They come across the three hags, the three witches, and they say, oh, Macbeth, you will be Lord of Cawdor and the King of Scotland. He says, what? And him and Banquo can't quite believe what's happening. So Macbeth gets home after being told by Lord Ross that he's going to be the Lord of Cawdor. And Macbeth gets back home to the castle where Lady Macbeth, his wife, is. And she says, this is amazing. Maybe you will become King of Scotland soon. And then she says the only way to become King of Scotland is to kill Duncan, the King of Scotland. So Macbeth thinks about this. He thinks and he thinks and he thinks. He doesn't want to do it. Then he does, then he doesn't, then he does. That night, there's a party in the castle. They're all having a great time. Macbeth decides to go. He sees a dagger floating in front of him. He's getting really wound up by this. Anyway, he kills the king. Thinks no one's seen him. Then he panics. And thinks, hang on. Banquo, my friend, he knew about the witches, the hags, and them saying I'm going to be king. What if Banquo knows it's me? So he panics and he sends his servant off to kill Banquo. Banquo's riding through the forest with his son, Fleance. Fleance escapes. Banquo gets killed. I mean, it's all going off. Then, after that, all Macbeth can see is kind of ghosts, his images of Banquo and other people that he's killed. And he just can't get it out of his head. He's slowly going mad. It's really struggling in his head. Anyway, they all think that Macbeth is going mad because he keeps seeing things. He doesn't really know what to say because obviously he's been a bad man. Anyway, Lady Macbeth says, this must stop. What have we done? We've made a big mistake. And Macbeth says, well, yeah, I kind of have. Anyway, Macbeth goes back out, sees the three witches again, and they all say to him, you need to beware Macduff. And he says, who? And they say that until Birnam Wood comes to the castle, you don't have to fear anything. And then the last witch says, fear no man that was born of a woman. And Macbeth thinks, well, this is ridiculous. You know, everyone is. But what we don't know is that Lord Macduff, who was one of Macbeth's friends, has gone to England and he's found Prince Malcolm. And we know that Prince Malcolm should be the new King of Scotland. And Macbeth suddenly panics. Anyway, Macbeth says, go to London and kill Macduff and Prince Malcolm. Just kill them. But before that, he said, go and kill Lord Macduff's family. I mean, it's just awful. Then we go over to England, where Prince Malcolm and Macduff find out what's going on. They realise Macbeth is a bad man, and they say, let's march to the castle. I mean, they're really not happy, are they? Anyway, last chapter, Macbeth's last stand. When the news spread that Malcolm was on his way over to Scotland, the lords of Scotland came to join him. By now, everybody had guessed that it was Macbeth who had killed Duncan. At Birnam Wood, remember the witches said Birnam Wood, Malcolm stopped his army. Cut the branches from the trees, he said. We'll hide behind them when we attack Dunsinane Castle. As the army advanced behind their shield of leaves, it looked like the forest was moving itself. From the top of the castle, Macbeth watched in panic. Just as the witches had promised, the wood was coming to Dunsinane Castle. A moment later, a horrible scream came from inside the castle, and a servant rushed out, his hands covered in blood. My lord, it's your wife! She has taken her life. So Lady Macbeth has finished her life now. She can't go on anymore. Macbeth went white in the face. He understood at once. Guilt had driven his wife to this. Now, for once in his whole life, Macbeth felt lonely and numb with fear, but there was no time to grieve or be sad. "Bring me my sword. I don't care if the wood has come to Dunsinane. No man can kill me. Open the gates." So remember, the witches had said that he couldn't be killed by a man who was born of a woman. So he's thinking, no one can kill me. The battle was fierce. But after a few minutes, Malcolm's soldiers had taken over the whole castle. Everywhere men lay, injured and dying. Macduff crept down a corridor, hunting for Macbeth. Macduff spun and saw Macbeth, his eyes blazing and his sword dripping with blood. I mean, this really is getting quite brutal now. Sorry if it's a bit much. "You can't kill me," said Macbeth. "No one born of a woman can hurt me." "Then you will die," said Macduff grimly, "for I was not born in the way that most people were. I was taken from my mother's body." This is all getting a bit brutal now. Macbeth threw back his head and laughed. "The witches tricked me. I will die fighting." The two men fought like demons. Their swords flashed through the air and clashed against each other. Then all at once Macbeth slipped. He reached out to get steady, but Macduff's sword was raised, and the slice of the blade came down, and Macbeth had gone. "Hail Malcolm, King of Scotland," Macduff said. Macbeth was dead on the ground where his greed for power had brought him. His bloody deeds had led to the bloodiest of ends. Oh man! I really need to read these books through to the end, don't I? I mean, I'd heard of Macbeth the play. I hadn't read it since I was at school. I mean, that is brutal. Just a reminder, that's written by William Shakespeare, probably the most famous poet and playwright ever. Little reminder there. Shakespeare was born in 1564 and died in 1616. Oh, who can remember what was Shakespeare alive during? If he died in 1616, that means he was alive in 1605. What happened then? Interesting. Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot. Right. You know what I'm going to say about Cheer Boo Song of Silence, and I'm sorry. I couldn't get in the hall yesterday because Slimming World are in there, and I also had a meeting and I had to do some singing with Year 5, and the secret shop was happening. I mean, it was all going off. So here is, it's another blast from the past, but it's a good one. Cheer Boo Song of Silence. Check it out. Will they get to cheer or will they get to boo? With either one there must not be violence. They may well get a song, but it will not last that long. We really hope they do not get silence. What I can promise you is a fantastic Cheer Boo Song or Silence, because behind that curtain is Mr. Jones. He's been waiting for me to ask him to do this for weeks and weeks, and now he's got his chance. He's just taken a phone call, so we're hoping that he doesn't get interrupted in the next couple of minutes. Right, is he going to get a cheer, a boo, a song or silence? He's chosen at random. What's he going to get? Classrooms and front rooms across the land. What is Mr. Jones, our volunteer hero, going to get? Right. Let's find out. Out you come, Mr. Jones! Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. I knew it, what a great start. Will they get to cheer or will they get to boo? With either one there must not be violence. They may well get a song, but it will not last that long. We really hope they do not get silence. A brilliant Cheer Boo Song or Silence. And don't forget, Every assembly now for December, we finish with birthdays, everyday knowledge, and that festive bit in assembly. Come on! Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Hey, 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 it's time to say we've got a Stukeley birthday. Oh, come on! And we have a Stukeley birthday today. Happy birthday, Lewis, in year 1. I love seeing Lewis in school. He's always such a happy, confident, kind young man, and it's his birthday today. Lewis, have a great day with family and friends. Let's go into everyday knowledge right now. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. And we are learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, learning to remember things worth remembering, everyday knowledge for you. Okay, measurement, length. What is this? A millimetre, that's right. What is this? A metre, that's right. What is this? A centimetre, that's right. What is this? A kilometre, that's right. That's 1,000 metres. That's what that is. Promise you that. Okay, interesting. How many grams in a kilogram? 1,000. Well done, everybody who got that. That's a new one for everyday knowledge. Grams and kilograms, they tell us how heavy something is. They tell us the mass of something. Just to give you an idea, a gram is probably a crumb, or a piece of paper. A small piece of paper is a gram, and a kilogram is a bag of pasta or a bag of sugar. So there are 1,000 grams in a kilogram, and there are 1,000 kilograms in a ton. That's what I need you all to know. So let's try that again. How many grams in a kilogram? 1,000. How many kilograms in a ton? 1,000, that's right. Oh, I tell you what, let's get a number sequence going. Not done that for a while. Oh, let's do an easy one. This is a good one for our year 1s and 2s, I think. 1 times 5 is, 2 times 5 is, 3 times 5 is, 4 times 5 is, 5 times 5 is, 6 times 5 is, 7 times 5 is, 8 times 5 is, 9 times 5 is, 10 times 5 is, 11 times 5 is, 12 times 5 is, yes, come on, big numbers all over. Right, how many months in a year? 12, that's right. How many years in a decade? 10, how many decades? Oh, how many years in a century? 100. Just to finish off, in which year was Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot? 1605. In which year was a Roald Dahl born? 1916. In which year was Charles Dickens born? 1812. In which year did England men win the Football World Cup? 1966. Jeff Hurst scored a hat-trick, 4-2 win against West Germany at Wembley. It's true. In which year did the first person walk on the moon? 1969. In which year was the Battle of Bannockburn? 1314. What about the Battle of Hastings? 1066. Well done. Okay, let's finish with that festive bit in assembly. We are back in December. It feels great. This is going to be in every assembly for the rest of December. Okay, first of all, let's get out everybody's favourite Advent chimney. Here it is. I spoke to you about it. I think I put a little video on Twitter yesterday, but you'll remember from last year, my mum bought me this Advent chimney when I first became a teacher, when I was a new teacher about 20 years ago. God blimey, I'm an old man. She bought me this as a little present for me and my class. I've had it for 20 years. If you put it into eBay, they sell for about £100. So the fact that I broke one of these last year really upsets me. Santa goes on the top. Because it's the first today, I'm going to take out number 1. I'm going to put it, if you can remember, there's a little bit at the back for it. I'm worried that the Santa's going to fall off. It definitely don't fall off. Goes in the back there, put that in the back, and then every time I take sticks out, he eventually drops right down to the bottom. Okay, that's our Santa's chimney. I will do that in every assembly, and I'll also put it on the Twitter, so you won't miss it at the weekend, because it's gonna be on the Twitter. Yes, it is! Oh, incredible. Oh, also don't forget, did you see at the start of assembly the Advent window flashed up? Yeah, well, I'm going to show you it now, just to explain it a little bit more. So here is our first Advent window. Okay, so you all saw that. It's the 1st of December. There was also a letter hidden on there. Find out that letter. Open up your learning logs. I don't have a learning log. And you're going to write that letter next to December the 1st. You might do it in class every day, or at the weekends. Look on the Twitter and it will be on there. I promise you. Okay? Tomorrow, I'm going to tell you about Christmas messages. But that's the end of our festive bit in assembly. I'll see you all very soon. Have a great day.